Good morning, Yankees universe. KOD Nation, stand up. And you degenerates, wake up and get your coffee. Yankee fans, what is good? Yankees took the first game against those guys from the Beantown, Boston, and we are here to celebrate it. Aaron Judge was scratched. He had a late scratch from the lineup. They said it was due to lower body soreness, but let's see how that just checks out. Hopefully everything, works out and it's not that big of a thing that Judge could just bounce back. He just needed the extra day off. He just needs some massages on those calves. Hopefully Judge is good. And hopefully today he'll be back in that lineup. But Yankee fans, KOD Nation fans, stand up. What is good? Last night as well, I want to take this special time to give this special shout out. Last night, I was invited to the Derek Jeter documentary that was playing at Yankee Stadium. I want to thank my guy John from Still Nick Fans. I want to thank Brick Media for the invite to inviting me there. Awesome time. Can't wait for the entire documentary to drop. Guys, you guys are in for a treat. Derek Jeter, he got super personal. I thought it was just going to be some tongue-in-cheek. All right, cool. This is going to be nice. No, it got real personal about his family. It opens up another side to Derek Jeter that a lot of us Yankee fans or just sports fans in general never knew about Derek Jeter. So I'm pretty excited for the rest of the series. Saw the first 2 episodes last night. They brought out, of course they had to bring out the legends. Reggie Jackson was there. Willie Randolph was there. Dave Winfield was there. Dave Winfield, and I remember this as a kid, but Dave Winfield still to this day in 2022 being the only professional athlete to be drafted to all 3 major sports: MLB, NFL, and NBA. So it was a pleasure. It was a treat. Is it as good as the last? Is it as good as the Last Dance? For a Yankee fan, yeah, in my opinion, I would say it's as good as The Last Dance. The Last Dance, to me, what made The Last Dance so good was the amount of trash talking that was involved in it, when it comes from Michael Jordan and other players. It didn't have that, but like I said, it gave you a different light and it opened up a different door into Derek Jeter's life that a lot of us fans probably didn't know. I must admit, he did have a little shot when it comes to Alex Rodriguez. They were talking about the relationship between Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter when they were first coming up, and how Alex Rodriguez at one time didn't want to take any pictures or do any promo segments with Derek Jeter because A-Rod didn't want to be seen as the little brother. A-Rod thought that he was the better player at the time. A lot of baseball statisticians thought that he was a better player at the same time. So it gets real deep into that conversation. Not going to spoil anything, as Jigga Man just told me, don't spoil, but not going to get too big into it. But like I said, it opens up the door to a different side of Derek Jeter we've never seen. It gets into the relationship between him and Alex Rodriguez. So like I said, it comes out during the All-Star break, July 16th, like that weekend. So it comes out the day after. Oh, it actually comes out right after the home run derby airs. So as soon as the home run derby finishes, boom, it'll lead you right into that Derek Jeter documentary. But like I said, tune in, pay attention. It's a great watch. You're not going to want to miss this. But now let's focus back into last night, because the Yankees faced off against those guys from Boston. Later on, we'll have a little segment talking about the Aaron Judge contract around like 11:30. I think I got somebody from Twitter, my guy Frankie from Twitter, that I'm gonna tag in to help me with this. But yeah, last night's game, and we got to start it off. I know I said it yesterday, and I think he heard me. But our guy Josh Donaldson responded He watched the Yankees Morning Brew. He heard me talking about him. And he said, you know what? I got to respond to this guy, HQ. Top of the morning, pinstripe salute. Yes, sir, John. Just talking about last night, John. Thanks again for the invite. It was an awesome time. Like I said, thanks to Brick. Shout out to Brick for even, throwing the invitation out there. But John, thank you so much. The fellas that you brought last night were awesome. Had a great time. It was it was a perfect time. First time in Yankee Stadium that I was able to sit right at the dugout. So that was a bit of an experience. I could just only imagine what it's like to watch a game from right where I was sitting. Oh, we got Queen Porto in the building. How you doing? Salute, salute, salute. Hope all is well. But yeah, Josh Donaldson heard us chirping yesterday. He heard us and he said, you know what? Gotta respond. And he respond. Grand Salami. Stephen Fox. What it do, Uncle Foxy? The Sly Fox is in the building. But Josh Donaldson, Grand Salami, put the Yankees up 4-0. And this was something that Josh Donaldson needed. Like I was talking yesterday and the day before. Josh Donaldson's glove, and this is something that Keith had to bring up to me, but Josh Donaldson's glove has been decent. He's had a solid glove. It's just his bat is what's been escaping him. He had that little IL stint when he was on the IL for 10 days. He came back, still trying to find his groove. A lot of people say he has a lot of bad luck when it comes to his exit velo. He's hitting the ball hard, but you just saw it right there. He hit the ball hard out of the ballpark. And that's what we want to see from Josh Donaldson or any Yankee who's struggling. And when I'm talking about a Yankee who's struggling, I got to bring up my man, my guy, Aaron Hicks. I know I said it yesterday, and I've been saying you suck, my guy, but you're proving us wrong. Aaron Hicks is fighting for his baseball life. When you look into the numbers, April and May was god awful for Aaron Hicks when it comes to baseball stats. April and May, Aaron Hicks was hitting a combined 168 for those 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. The month of June, Aaron Hicks turned it on a little bit. He brought his batting average to 247. In the month of July, I know it's a small sample size, but in the month of July, Aaron Hicks is hitting 387 with 2 home runs, one of them being a grand slam. Yes, it was off a position player who's not a pitcher, but it still counts as a home run. So in the month of July, Aaron Hicks is hitting a cool 387. His OBS, his on-base percentage, it's literally 460. No, 483. Yeah, 483 in this month. Aaron Hicks he's turning things around, And yes, I have been bashing him since the beginning of the season. I understand that. I get that. But when you're struggling, right, you got to be able to be called out. Just like I called out Aaron Judge over these past 2 weeks, week and a half. When I was in Tampa, Aaron Judge's batting average was $1 and some change. Easily. He got called out for it. And what happened? He responded with an RBI single against Pittsburgh, 3 for 4 with a grand slam against Pittsburgh. Yes, he had a day off yesterday. Hopefully he's in that lineup against Boston. And you seen Boston last night being very, very careful with Giancarlo Stanton. You seen it last night because the Red Sox know Giancarlo Stanton mashes them. And the Red Sox they would start walking him, pitching around him. So they weren't giving Giancarlo Stanton many things to hit. And I'm going to need Garrett Cole to take that advice. Because Mr. Garrett Cole cannot pitch against Rafael Devers. Rafael Devers owns Garrett Cole. I can admit that. Hopefully, Garrett Cole can admit that. And he can stop pitching to Rafael Devers. You need to treat Rafael Devers the way the Boston Red Sox treated Giancarlo Stanton last night. Just walk him, Garrett. Just pick your poison. If you know that this guy owns you, just pick your poison. And it was 2 pitches. It was a slider that was in, and it was a changeup that was low. Both pitches out of the strike zone, but Rafael Devers mashed it 100%. Let's see. He said, facts. Hicks is easing into the season. He needs to stay healthy to be effective. Glad we have depth in this lineup to allow for rest for some. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, John. And that's what, what the opposite side of the coin, right? Because say like if the Yankees do go out and get an outfielder to replace Joey Gallo because Joey Gallo's production is awful. If we do get a guy to come in, Aaron Hicks could be the perfect fourth outfielder. The perfect fourth outfielder. I know he's getting paid, you know, 20, 30 million over the next 3 years, but hey, if that's what it is to be a fourth outfielder on this team, why not? If the Yankees go out there and get an Andrew Benintendi, or if the Yankees go out there to get an Ian Happ, or hey, if the Yankees even go out there to get Brian Reynolds, which I doubt, but if we do get a guy, if we do get an extra outfielder to replace the Joey Gallo production that's not there, that's non-existent, 100%, Aaron Hicks would be the perfect fourth outfielder. 100%. And say, what's good, sir? Aaron looks like he's trying to bring his stats up. It's baseball. I feel like it's kind of the name of the game. The name of the game. You really don't get that many at bats. You have to capitalize. 100%. 100%. Queen Porto dropping gems, dropping those dimes, but 100%. Aaron Hicks, he was coming off of a injury from last year, right? He went to DR to try to start off with his rehab. He played in DR in the Dominican League. Awesome. Love to see it. Came into the season at the beginning of the year, the first couple of weeks, it looked like he was a different hitter using the entire field. But then he got home run happy and pull happy and was trying to pull everything. And he just reverted to what Aaron Hicks has been these past couple of seasons. Now, Aaron Hicks's biggest problem, in my opinion, is with runners in scoring position. It's always been his issue. Aaron Hicks is a sub 250 hitter with runners in scoring position. So that's the issue that Aaron Hicks has to work out. It's not like Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo, his runners in scoring position is horrible, especially with not having a sacrifice fly in his entire career, which is another thing. But yeah, Yankee fans, let me know if who would you rather the Yankees go after? Would you rather the Yankees go after Ian Happ? Would you like the Yankees to go after Andrew Benintendi? Or would you like the Yankees to see if they could fix whatever's going on with Joey Gallo? Because I know right now in 2022, Joey Gallo stats may not be what you want to see, right? May not be the best ones. But next year, please remember, they are removing the shift from baseball. So Joey Gallo's batting average could go from 160 to 240, 260 just from removing the shift. Now, should it be a reason we keep him on this team? No. But if the Yankees do decide, you know what, let's see what we have with him, and they keep him on this team, and this offseason they're able to sign him on a 1 or 2 year deal that's very dirt cheap, very team friendly, and he does benefit from that shift being removed, it's just an idea to throw out there. It's just an idea to throw out there. But ultimately, I would love to see Joey Gallo and this situation get fixed and get rectified. He does seem like a decent human being, but when it comes down to it, your baseball stats and the stats you're putting up with the Yankees aren't it. Now, when you look at his stats, I brought it up yesterday, from last year till now, same amount of plate appearances, at bats, games played. He's hitting the same. Last year, he had 13 home runs. This year, he has 9 home runs with us. The batting average is basically the same. The RBIs last year were more than what they are this year. His strikeouts are up from what it was last year. So it's basically almost the same, just a little bit worse with Joey Gallo. And don't get me wrong. Yes, I've been beating up on Joey Gallo, beating up on Aaron Hicks, on Josh Donaldson. That does not mean I do not want to see them succeed with the Yankees. 100%. I would love to see Joey Gallo go on a tear for the next 2 or 3 weeks where he carries his team. Who wouldn't want to see that, especially if you're a Yankee fan? Same thing with Aaron Hicks. I would love to see Aaron Hicks go on a tear where he carries his team as well. Or if Aaron Hicks could turn into a second tier or secondary leadoff guy for the bottom half of the lineup, I would love to see that. But when you're struggling, you got to be able to be called out. And on this team, you're making $17 million. Joey Gallo, you're supposed to be a home run hitter. Your production is not what it is. It's not it. Same thing for Aaron Hicks. Let's see. Luckily, we are having a great season, and it gives these guys time to get it together. But with the trade deadline upon us, it's a tough pill to swallow, 100%. And that's a way, and I said it yesterday, how we can hide our faults. It's easy for us to hide our faults when we have the best record in baseball. We just got to 60 wins. It's easy for us to hide our mistakes when you're the best team in baseball, when you have the best record in baseball, and when you have the best player on the planet with Aaron Judge. It's very easy to hide your flaws, right? But at the same time, when you lose a game against Pittsburgh, when you lose the final game of a series against Cleveland, Yankee fans are out for blood. Yankee fans turn into sharks in the Pacific. We smell that blood and we just looking for somebody to pounce on. But that's how it is. Us Yankee fans want to win every game, want to win every year. We know it's not realistic. So whatever we could point at to be like, that's wrong there, that's wrong there, that's wrong there. Guess everyone is over here. Yeah. So baby steps. We got the trade deadline coming up, and Brian Cashman, we trust. We're giving Brian Cashman the benefit of the doubt because this season has been a phenomenal year. Going into the season, if you would have asked me for predictions, I would have never thought this team would have been where it is right now. Would I have had hope and wanting to root for this team to be where it is? Yes. But if you was to ask me to put money on it, would I think this team would have been where it's at right now? No, 100% not. The additions of IKF and Josh Donaldson defensively on that left side of the infield are wonders. It's 100% 360 from what it was last year, right? Yes, we had Gio on the left-hand side last year. We had Gio Urshela playing shortstop, but that's not his natural position. As great of a defensive player Gio Urshela is when it comes to catching the ball, his range is a bit limited going left to right. Third baseman, phenomenal third baseman. As a shortstop going left to right, not 100% sold on it, right? So the addition of IKF and Josh Donaldson, yes, IKF has been struggling here or there, but it is better than Gleyber Torres last year at shortstop. We move Gleyber Torres over to second base, and you see what's happening. Gleyber Torres is on the cusp of hitting anywhere from 260 to 270. If we could get him to 270, 100%. Same thing with DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu had I think probably one of his worst seasons as a big leaguer last year. We found out he had hip issues. He had hip surgery in the offseason. He's coming back. And at the same thing, just like Gleyber Torres, hitting 260 to 270. It's up from last year. Same thing with his slugging percentage. Same thing with his on-base percentage. All of his numbers, when you look at the metrics, they're all up. So we gotta just knock on wood. The moves that Brian Cashman made are turning out to look like solid moves. We've seen it last night with this guy, Josh Donaldson, and that grand salami. Josh Donaldson is somebody that I've been calling, and I put it out on Twitter. If it wasn't for Joey Gallo and Aaron Hicks' struggles, Josh Donaldson's head would be on the chopping block. But he responded. I guess he saw my tweet, and I guess he saw the episode last night. He responded, and he responded in a big way. But let me go right here. Let's look into these stats. Let's see what we got. Hold on one second. Start off with the Red Sox, the losing team. Boston last night They had Duran leading it off in center field. Duran, he has some speed, big time speed. But he was 0 for 4 last night. He had a couple times that he almost beat out infield singles. Rafael Devers destroyed us last night. He was 2 for 3. JD Martinez, the DH, was 0 for 3. The shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, was 0 for 3. Alex Verdugo, who normally kills us, was 0 for 4. The former shortstop moved to second base. Trevor Story was 1 for 4. Frankie Cordero, the first baseman, was 1 for 4. Frankie Cordero's defense was a little bit suspect on an infield pop-up that gave the Yankees the early lead. The lead late in the game, but he was 1 for 4. Jackie Bradley Jr., who's known mostly for his glove, he was 0 for 2. Kevin Plawecki, a former Mets prospect, the catcher, was 1 for 2, as well as a former Yankee prospect who pitch hit late in the game for Jackie Bradley, Rob Refsnyder. If you guys remember Robbie Refsnyder from a few years ago. But Rob Refsnyder came into the game as a pinch hitter for Jackie Bradley Jr. He was 0 for 4. Now, over to the pitching side. And again, I'm going to apologize in advance. Oh, she said, JD needed a night like this one to get him. Absolutely. And like Jessica Porto says, music to my ears. That hit was music to my ears. His bat flip, his cocky bat flip. That's the one thing about Josh Donaldson. As much as, we could get on him, he's a cocky bastard. That's one thing I got to say. But over to the pitching side, and I'm going to apologize again in advance, but Wick Kowiski, the pitcher for the Red Sox, the starting pitcher, he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So he was struggling from out the gate. Stram, who came in after him, he pitched the inning in the third, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts on his side. Schreiber, who came in afterwards, he pitched 2/3. He gave up no hits, he gave up no runs, no walks, and he had a couple strikeouts. Now, Brazier is somebody who apparently is a reclamation project, but he's turned out to be an all-star reliever for the Red Sox. He's basically their version of Clay Holmes. But Brazier, he pitched the inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and no strikeouts. If you could back up the cockiness, why not? Absolutely. Davis pitched last night. He pitched the inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. The losing pitcher on record, Winkowski. I'm so sorry. Winkowski was a losing record pitcher on record. He was he moves to 3-3 on the season. I'm so sorry. It's just that name. Winkowski. Now over to the Yankees side of things. When you look at the Yankees last night, like I said, they had to give Aaron Judge a day off. He's complaining of lower body soreness. So hopefully he's back in that lineup tonight. But DJ LeMahieu is who led it off, the first baseman, filling in for Anthony Rizzo, who's dealing with some lower back tightness as well. But DJ was 0 for 4. Even though he's turning it around, he was 0 for 4 last night. Gleyber Torres, another 2-hit game. He was 2 for 5. Matt Carpenter was 0 for 5. Giancarlo Stanton was 0 for 3. Josh Donaldson, 2 for 4, a single and a grand slam. Aaron Hicks as well, 2 for 4. He had a double and a home run. Jose Trevino, our amigo, was 1 for 3. IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the shortstop, was 0 for 4. And Joey Gabagool Gallo was 0 for 2 last night. He did try to sneak on with a drag bunt. Almost had it, but the Gabagool, Joey Gallo, 0 for 2. Now, when you look at the starting pitcher, Garrett Cole, I asked for it last night. I was hoping it happened. Yesterday morning, I said we needed Garrett Cole to have his Boston moment. He didn't. Josh Donaldson had his Boston moment. But Garrett Cole, for some reason, decides that he wants to pitch to Rafael Devers. But in the 6 innings that he pitched, Garrett Cole gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The 2 hits being home runs by Rafael Devers. Wandy Peralta, the ageless one, Wandy Peralta, came in after him. He pitched the inning in the 3rd, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Then you have Michael King. Michael King was filthy. He had a slider that started basically at the batter and wind up in the middle of the plate. Nobody knew what to do with it last night. But Michael King, he pitched 2/3 of the innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Clay Holmes, who was basically playing wiffle ball against major leaguers, Clay Holmes pitched the inning, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. The winning pitcher of note, Garrett Cole, 8-2 on the season, improved his record. But ultimately, Garrett Cole had a horrible start against the Boston Red Sox. Garrett Cole and Cole we trust, as they say. But Garrett Cole, if September comes around, October comes around, the postseason comes around, and we face the Red Sox in the division series for some reason, you can't pitch like this. I'm sorry. And I'm not 100% going to beat up on Garrett Cole, because if you look at his numbers for the season, he's having a phenomenal season. Hold on, let me just pull it up real quick. When you look at his numbers, he's having a phenomenal season. So yeah, he had a hiccup against the Red Sox. I 100% agree with that. But ultimately for the season, he's having a good year. Let's check it out real quick. Give me 1 second. So far in the season, Garrett Cole, 8-2, 3.26 ERA, 124 strikeouts. Right? This season, the innings pitched, he has 99 innings pitched, basically 100 innings pitched so far, 124 strikeouts, only walked 29 people. So far this year, in the 17 games that he has started, an 8-2 record, he has a winning percentage of 800. That's ace-like stuff. You're an ace if you pitch like that. Yes, did he get rocked by Boston? Yes. Did he pitch as he should have pitched against his former team, the Houston Astros? He could have been better. But is Garrett Cole a bust or a quote-unquote bum, as they say? No. It's the same thing with Aaron Judge. Yes, Garrett Cole has a spotlight on him because of that $300 million contract. We know that. It's going to be the same thing with Aaron Judge, Yankee fans. You guys got to realize Aaron Judge is going to command a $300 million contract. Now, if that's from the Yankees, hopefully, right? We don't know yet. But Aaron Judge is going to demand 8, 9, 10 years. He's already put it out from his camp that he wants 10 years. I said yesterday, hopefully there's a happy medium that the Yankees and Aaron Judge could agree with of 8 to 9 years. Hopefully. But Garrett Cole, for what he's producing, he's our ace. 100%. Now, next year, when Aaron Judge gets that contract, the numbers that he's putting up right now, it's going to be bare minimum. This is where the bar is set for Judge. So the numbers he's putting up right now, fans are going to expect that from Judge moving forward, especially when he gets his big contract extension. So moving forward, if Judge is doing anything less than what the bar has been set in Yankee fans' mind, he will have those boo birds, right? We heard him in the beginning of the season. In the beginning of the season, the first game, actually, you heard a little boos being sprinkled in the crowd because Aaron Judge didn't sign that contract extension from the Yankees, right? Hal Steinbrenner came out the other day from his porch up high in Yankee Stadium, but he came out and he said that it's going to take legendary money or a legendary contract to re-sign Judge, which absolutely is. Now, is he going to get paid more than Garrett Cole? Not too sure. Is he going to be legendary when it comes to Yankees position players? Maybe. But whatever contract it is, whatever contract extension it is, The Yankees need to pony up and pay this man. Now, could there be a situation or a scenario where the San Francisco Giants outbid us? Yes. The Giants have a lot of money coming off of their payroll. The Giants, Aaron Judge is from the Bay Area. So that right there, attraction of going back and playing for your childhood team or the team you grew up with watching, the Giants, that's something that could be intriguing for him as well. And it's not like the Giants are bad. They're just third in their division in the NL West, which is a tough division. So who's to say that Aaron Judge going to that San Francisco Giants team doesn't make them a first place team? We don't know. Let's see, my man. People need to take the heat off Cole compared to the other great starters in the league like DeGrom or Max, Clayton, Kershaw, etc. He's been way more help. Yeah, 100%. Jacob DeGrom hasn't even pitched this year. Jacob DeGrom, this talks about Jacob DeGrom before he even pitched this year, opting out and going to play for the Braves. 100%. That's what I said. Garrett Cole, since he's been a knock on wood, since he's been a Yankee, Garrett Cole hasn't missed a start. Let's just put that in perspective. Knock on wood, like I just said. But since he has been a Yankee, Garrett Cole has not missed a start, a single start. That's ace-like stuff right there. We've never gotten a notification. Oh, Garrett Cole has a hangnail. Garrett Cole has a toe injury or something. We haven't seen it. Knock on wood. Right? Garrett Cole, since being a Yankee. Oh, Frankie, what's up, baby? Yeah. Yeah, if you want to talk about this this Aaron Judge, yeah, set this up. But yeah, since he has been a Yankee, Garrett Cole has not missed a start. That's ace-like stuff. 100% ace-like stuff. But guys, we're gonna dive deeper into this Aaron Judge contract talk, right? So for the past couple of days, I've been on Twitter, been going back and forth with a young man by the name of Frankie. Very insightful young man. He knows a lot of stuff about baseball. Has a future, in my opinion, in this baseball world, talking, being opinionated, having a show. So if you guys could just bear with me, I'm gonna play for us a little commercial for the What the Shit show, What the show, and then we bring Frankie on. How about that, guys? So just bear with me, enjoy this quick commercial break, and we be right back.
Tired of watching the same boring old sports shows? Try this on for size.
His play style, yeah. I think he's the best at pretty much everything.
You're watching the What the Show with Jose Rockets and Jigga Man Porto. And now, the best damn sports show on the internet. What the
Frankie.
I'm here.
Salute, my guy. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for jumping
letting me on. Appreciate it.
Man. Listen, I appreciate the back and forth on Twitter. Thank you so much for even following me on Twitter and for taking time out. What's good, my guy?
Yeah, of course. All right. So just get started here, right? Got some notes here. So in the offseason, right? Obviously, it was tough not extending him as a Yankees fan. I bet you can agree with me. Like, that was, scary. You know, as Judge said it, he said he was disappointed not getting it done. But, they offered him 7 years, $213 million, which that's $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And Yankees said no. They pushed that contract. But I feel like, honestly, the Yankees were being a little cheap by not giving him his extra $5 million because, we're the Yankees, right? We can afford an extra $5 million.
100%.
And for them not to give him that extra $5 a year that's our guy. He's the face of baseball, to not give him that extra $5 was like, that's a little iffy. I feel like that definitely should have been pushed by them. Right. And, so Yeah, that was concerning. And Judge said himself when he was asked about if he was gonna negotiate contracts through the year, he said no. He said, I just want to play baseball. I was like, all right. So, and then they had the arbitration coming up, which, they pushed it back, whatever. And then the day before the hearing would take place, they, signed 19 million, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next day before the game, Judge was asked again, hey, do you think this is progress toward an extension or a deal in the offseason? Again, he said no. I was like, dude, that's a little scary for me.
Yeah, it's leaving all the seeds in place for him to leave, which is a prospect that us Yankee fans don't want to realize and don't even want to entertain. Right? You said it earlier when the Yankees offered him that first contract and he turned it down. That was a bit scary.
Yeah.
Right. And then hearing him during the offseason about how frustrated he was. And as Yankee fans, we take a step back. We look back in history. The Yankees did the same thing with Derek Jeter in 2006, 2007, when he was a free agent. And this was him second in the league when he almost won a batting title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also to piggyback off what you were saying with San Francisco, right? I could definitely see him going to San Francisco. If he doesn't re-sign, I feel like they're the front runner to grab him. Because to piggyback off what you were saying, he's from the Bay Area. They have a ton of money on their payroll coming into the offseason. Obviously you can't count out the Mets either, which I hate to say, but because they got as much money as we do, so
yeah,
that's also tough to say. And I could also see him. Honestly, a sleeper team for him I could see being Boston. Honestly, because again they don't have a ton of money on their payroll right now. They have a lot of room to sign a guy like Judge or to sign whoever they want. So I feel like they also have a lot of room as a potential candidate for him.
Boston, if I'm not mistaken, Boston has JD Martinez contract coming off the books. Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers are both going to be free agents. Chris Sale, I think his money is coming off the books. So it could be a situation, like you said, Frankie, they re-sign up and give Rafael Devers an extension and they sign Judge, take him away from us.
Yeah.
That'd be payback from when we took Mark Teixeira from them back in 2009.
That would definitely be that would definitely be payback, but that's I'll give him anyone else on our team besides Judge though. Honestly, they can take anyone else besides him. And yeah, you see, another thing with these big contracts though is you don't know how they're gonna we don't know how Judge is gonna perform. Kind of what you were saying earlier. We don't know if Judge is gonna have this year, right? So as of now, Judge is hitting 290. He has 30 home runs, and he already has a 4.3 WAR, which is honestly outstanding. That's like an MVP type season through a full year. I feel like I could win like that, but to have that in July,
and just so my fault, Frankie, and just so people could put that in perspective, the MLB average for wins above replacement is 100. So Frankie, you just saying Judge is in 4 and some change. That's MVP. That's MLB The Show video game numbers.
Yeah, for sure. He's, in my opinion, he's by far the MVP. But I think the only guy that really has a second to him is Alvarez from Houston. His stats here, I have 310 with 26 home runs, 60 RBIs. He's a 4 WAR. But obviously Judge is having a better year, and he's just – see, the thing with Judges, I feel like that gets swept under the rug a lot, is that he plays Gold Glove caliber defense too. In center, now he's proved he can do in center and in right. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing also with Aaron Judge. He got drafted as a center fielder. So, people need to understand the Yankees aren't just randomly putting him out in center field just to put it. No, he was drafted as a center fielder. This is the position he wants to play, and you can see it in the outfield. Am I concerned with his 6'7", 6'6", 280 frame running around in center field? 100%. But I think the Yankees are like, you know what? You're on a contract year. If this is what you want to do, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's my big concern with him playing in center. But I feel like it's kind of needed for him to play in center because that opens up right field for Stanton. And I feel like a lineup with Gallo and Hicks in, I mean, that's just not a strong lineup. So if we can have like Judge in center, Stanton in right, and then Gallo, and then Hicks in left, and then maybe Gallo be a fourth outfielder, that I feel like that would be ideal. But I would love Benintendi. I would love Reynolds. My uncle from Pittsburgh's actually up, and
Nice.
we were talking about potential Brian Reynolds trades, and he even told me that if there's any team that he would want Brian Reynolds to go to, it would be the Yankees. So I feel like that
it's just from the series that we just had, and my apologies for cutting you off before you finish, but the series we just had against Pittsburgh, Brian Reynolds, he just looks like he's a player that looks perfect for pinstripes.
He just looks like a Yankee dude. He's just one of those guys, But yeah, back to Judge, like.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you. But we'll come back to the trade deadline. But what do you think is a solid figure? What numbers do you think should be for Judge when it comes to his contract?
That's kind of tough because
it's not our money. It's easy to spend other people's money.
We're not paying them; they have to. See, the thing is, like Judge coming into the year, like I stated, was asking for 35. And if he keeps up this pace, which I mean, he slowed down for a little bit, but looks like he's heating back up at least. If he keeps on this amazing pace, say he hits 290 with 55 home runs, which looks pretty sensible right now, along with his defense and being face of the media, a clubhouse guy, I could definitely see them paying him upwards of $40 million. I really can. That's what he's going to be asking for, I think, because him asking for 35. I feel like I feel like that was a good price for him last year, but not now with the year he's having. I feel like he's definitely going to demand at least $38-39 million, probably in the 40s if I had to guess. And he's definitely going to want a long-term deal. I could see 7 to 10 years. For sure.
Yeah, just like Jigga said, playing the way he is, he deserves to ask for more.
No
100%. 100%. If Judge is asking at the beginning of the season, like you said, 35 million was his asking point at the beginning, he's definitely going to be sitting at 40 million.
Oh, yeah.
That's the conversation start. The Yankees are probably going to try to lowball him at 38-39 million, which I don't know why. For some reason, the Yankees have a history of lowballing our players, but overpaying for other teams' players, right? And we need to fix that, and we need to correct that. Judge needs to be, in my opinion, and I said this before, he needs to be the highest earned contract, like annual value contract, like what he's making per season in baseball before Soto's a free agent, right? Now, Matt Scherzer is at 45 million, which I don't want to think about paying Aaron Judge 45 million. But Aaron Judge needs to be in that price range of 40 to 45 million.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's not just the baseball player. Everyone loves him in the clubhouse. He's like the face of the media and everything. So that's also, I feel like you got to pay for a guy like that a little bit too, because he's a personality. People like him. So I feel like that's definitely a big part in how much money he's going to make.
Yeah, because when you talk, because we brought up the San Francisco Giants, right?
Yeah.
The San Francisco Giants, they aren't just going to pay Aaron Judge just because, his baseball numbers. No, it's everything
pay
else.
For his name.
Bingo. There's everything that comes with it. It's his name. It's his notoriety. It's what he brings off the field.
All that stuff.
Jersey sales. All of it. All of it. And
they don't have a guy like that. After Posey left, I don't think they have a guy like that. So
no,
they're gonna have
to. And after the Golden State Warriors just won that championship, they want to feed off of that energy from the town. So they're gonna have the money to pay when it comes to Aaron Judge.
Yeah, for sure.
The trade deadline is literally almost 2 or 3 weeks away. They moved it back an extra week because
did they?
Yeah,
because of the lockout, right? Yeah,
because of the lockout. Yeah. So now it's in August instead of July 31st. But give me three targets that you want the Yankees to go for.
All right, so
if you got more than 3, you can name them more. But who do you think is your 3 targets the Yankees should go for?
Top of the list has to be Brian Reynolds. And see, Him and Benintendi. Benintendi's a close second, but the reason I like Reynolds more than Benintendi is because we have Benintendi would be a rental. I feel like he's a free agent after this year, and we'd have like 2 to 3 years of control of Reynolds. So yeah, Benintendi Reynolds definitely a first. Benintendi is second because they're both really, really good baseball players.
Yeah.
And the third guy, let me think. I definitely want another outfielder. Maybe like if we can get a guy like this might be out of the ballpark, but even like a Yelich. I would love a Yelich. Just like a solid corner outfield guy, Send Hicks to be a fourth outfielder, has the lefty swing, the short porch. So a Yelich type guy, I feel like would definitely be a solid option as well if we can't get Benintendi or Reynolds first.
Christian Yelich in a Yankee uniform would just be a dream come true. But
he looks like a Yankee.
Oh yeah, 100%. Each one of those picks that you named, Brian Reynolds starting off with. To me, we both agree that he's a future Yankee. He looks just like a Yankee. That would be awesome for him. What are you willing to part away with from the minor league system, right? Because we got Volpe, we got Dominguez, we got Austin Wells, we got Wisniewski, we got Peraza, Cabrera. Who are you willing to part way with prospect-wise to make that deal happen?
So he's in Pittsburgh, and with Pittsburgh, they have O'Neal Cruz, so I feel like they don't need a shortstop. And they have another young shortstop in their system. I can't think of his Paguero, I think.
I think Estevan Paguero.
They have Paguero in the minors, and he's a shortstop. So I feel like we won't have to give up Volpe or Peraza. But I definitely see the thing is like they don't have a lot of pitching prospects, so I feel like we might have to give up like maybe a Wisniewski or maybe a Davey Garcia, something like that. And I feel like we can also throw Andahar in there since he wants out anyway, so he could just be like a sweetener in a deal like that.
I'll be good with giving up Andujar, Florial. I'm looking at our top prospect list, pitching wise. Ken Waldichuk. Hayden Wisniewski, like you said, Luis Medina. So we do have some starting pitchers that we could entice. A Clark Smith, who's been at the major league level. That's somebody. Let's see.
That's a guy I forgot about. He could definitely.
Ron Marinaccio. That's somebody that we could put in the trade because he's a young piece as well. It's just I get a little bit scared when it comes to giving up prospects, right? Because the Pirates, they got O'Neal Cruz because they traded away Jose Quintana.
Yeah.
Right. Not the Pirates. I'm sorry. The Houston Astros, they got Alvarez because they traded away Jose Quintana. Yeah. No, they traded away Quintana to the White Sox. That's how they got Jordan Alvarez.
There we go.
Right. O'Neal Cruz, he was the Pirates got him from the Rule 5 draft. So it's always some prospects that sneak in. Right, or you let out your system that becomes stars someplace else. Look at Fernando Tatis. Fernando Tatis was traded away for James Shield.
James Shields, was he the guy who gave up the home run to Bartolo?
Yeah. But when you look at our prospects, right, and I was talking about this yesterday. Jason Dominguez, he's somebody that I don't want to give up, and I don't want to give up on. But I was in Tampa, right? Frankie, I was in Tampa for like 2 weeks, last 2 weeks. I went down to see Jason Dominguez play, and the energy was just lazy.
He's lazy.
Now, granted, it was a one-time game that I saw him, so probably he was just feeling it that day. But when I tell you that he had 3, which should have been, normal fly ball outs that landed right at his feet, I looked right to the dugout, and you just saw the Yankees coaches upset. Right. So the talent is there. The potential is there. It's just the lazy energy. Hopefully he gets rid of that and he could turn into a productive major league player.
Yeah. See, the thing I think of Dominguez, right? Like, I think a lot of times, like, we forget he's only like, what's he, 19?
19.
So I feel like that laziness kind of also comes with him still kind of being a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like once he gets a little older, gets developed, goes to the minors, I feel like that laziness will definitely go away. At least I hope so, because he's extremely talented and he does a lot of things right.
Yeah, I
And
was sitting right behind home plate, like because the tickets were $8.
yeah, those
If
are
you
those the
yeah, if you guys get a chance, go catch minor league baseball. It's an awesome way to get cheap tickets. But right behind home plate, he fouled off a ball that got through the net, so he was able to foul off pitches, and they were able to get through the net. So you could tell the bat speed and the power is there, the potential is there. It's just like you said, he's still a kid. He's 19 years old. You gotta get him around some older vets that could just put their arm around him and tell him the right things to do.
Yeah, I live like maybe half hour away from the Yankees single A affiliate, the Renegades.
Oh, okay.
So last year I went up. I saw Volpe and I saw Austin Wells play when they were still down there. And Volpe is extremely talented. He has like he hits the ball hard. He hustles, and he was down 0-2, right? In one of his at bats. You know, he works it up to 3-2. He takes an outside pitch the other way to right field. Ball must have gone off 430 feet. Like it was a no doubt the other way bomb. And he was
Austin,
21 last year?
yeah,
Yeah.
Austin Wells. When I was down there watching Jason Dominguez, that's when Austin Wells he was playing. I guess they moved him to the Tarpons. I forgot. I don't know why, but he had a home run, and that ball cracked off his bat. And when I tell you, it went out the stadium down in Georgia, and Steinbrenner Field went out of the stadium. So Austin Wells, that's a player I do not want to let go.
Yeah,
but,
he's a beast.
Frankie, before I let you go, let these people know where they can find you at on Twitter, and we definitely have to have more of these because I love this conversation, Frankie.
Yeah,
you
me
definitely got to
This
be a
awesome.
regular, brother.
Yeah. All right, so my Twitter is Joey Gallo Stan. I know, man. I like Joey Gallo, so it's Joey Gallo Stan STAN, and then it's just my name is Frankie is like my name on there.
Copy. Frankie, like I said, it was a pleasure having you on, player.
Pleasure talking
we
to you.
definitely have to set this up so you could come back and be a regular whenever you're free in the morning. Cool. We can set it up. Just, you got my Twitter. Let's just DM back and forth to set that up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thank you for having me, man. Talk to you soon.
Of course. Later. My man, Frankie. Awesome. Great having him on. Great conversation as well. Love the convo back and forth. Thanks for stopping by, Frankie. Jiggerman Portal said it in the background. Yeah, Jessica said this guy knows his stuff. Absolutely. I definitely see a bright future for Frankie in this industry. He knows his stuff. He's on point with the stats. Frankie, my man, you may be trying to come for my job, but guys, let's preview this game today because the Yankees do have a game later on tonight against those Boston Red Sox. So let's preview this before we dip out. Hold on. Let me get it right here. Okay, so the Yankees, they're playing at 7:10 against the Boston Red Sox. Tonight, the Yankees will be sending Nestor Cortez, who bounced back after he had a rough stretch of starts. Bounced back. His ERA is 2.44 now. But on the season, Nestor Cortez is 7-3, a 2.44 ERA. He has a whip of 0.95 and in 85 innings, he's only allowed 62 hits. He struck out 91, only walked 19, and has given that home run ball up 11 times. So he's given up the home run ball less than Garrett Cole, less than some of our other starters. But Nestor Cortez was struggling his previous starts before his last one. So hopefully he turns it around, and we need Nestor Cortez to be dominant tonight, especially against that guy, Rafael Devers, who loves to beat up on the Yankees. The Red Sox, they didn't announce the pitcher until earlier this morning, but Connor Seabold is the starting pitcher. On the season, he's only pitched 8 2/3 of innings, so not that much on his resume, but he's an emergency starter. So on the season, in the 8 2/3 he's pitched, he has an ERA of 8.31. He's given up 15 hits, 11 strikeouts, 3 walks, and he's given up that home run 3 times. And he's pitching to an 8.31 ERA. So hopefully the Yankees can see that, and their bats take advantage of that tonight. Again, Rafael Devers is leading the Boston Red Sox in almost every offensive category. He has a 330 average, 19 home runs, and 51 RBIs. Aaron Judge, hopefully he is in the lineup tonight, but Aaron Judge is leading us in almost every offensive category. He's batting 287, 30 home runs, and 64 RBIs. And like my guy Frankie just said, Aaron Judge needs to be paid and needs to be paid ASAP. Back up that Brinks truck and pay the man because Judgy Wudgy needs to get paid. It just needs to happen, right? And like he said, San Francisco easily could pay him. A dark horse in this conversation, the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox, they could pay him. He was adopted. His adopted parents is apparently his adopted father is a big time Red Sox fan. That would be the utmost nightmare scenario. Aaron Judge signing with the Red Sox. Now, I don't remember if any Yankee in their prime left us to go to Boston. I know there's been some Boston players that were out of their prime that left Boston and came to us. You know, Johnny Damon, Wade Boggs, later on his career, Roger Clemens. I granted it wasn't after Boston, it's after he was in Toronto. I get it. But yeah, I don't remember a situation or a scenario where a Yankee player in his prime left us and went right over to Boston. Don't know. Don't remember whatsoever. But hopefully, the Yankees and this front office, especially Hal Steinbrenner, they're able to figure it out. My man Swab, what's good? Swavy, what up, baby? But yeah, the Yankees, this offseason, they have to put up or shut up. Behind the Dallas Cowboys, the Yankees are the second most valuable sport franchise in the world. Behind the Dallas Cowboys. You have the money. Don't get me wrong. You have the money. For years, the Yankees told us we're trying to get below the luxury tax. We're trying not to be penalized by the luxury tax. We're trying to, do good when it comes to that. They did that. They did that for 3 or 4 years. Enough's enough. We're tired of that. There's no more luxury tax trimming. There's no more trying to get under the set. None of that. No. You guys took on an extra $25 million from Josh Donaldson. No. Don't need none of that. I don't need the Yankees being in a situation where they have to decide, should we re-sign Judge and we have that Josh Donaldson contract on the books? No. There should be no contract on the books should stop you from signing your superstar, the captain of your team, the best player of your team, Aaron Judge. Nothing. And like I said earlier, Aaron Judge has been playing Gold Glove center fielder. My man Frankie said it. He said Gold Glove center fielder. That's what Aaron Judge is this year. I know a lot of Yankee fans, I know a lot of just people in general get nervous with Judge playing center field, but he could play it. Like I told Frankie, Judge played center field at Fresno State. Judge was drafted as a center fielder. Judge played center field in the minor leagues. It's a plus that we could just shift him over to right field and he handles it like it's no problem. But Judge playing center field, like Frankie said, it opens up this lineup so much. It allows Giancarlo Stanton to move from the DH, go to right field. It allows DJ LeMahieu, Gleyber Torres, and Josh Donaldson, all three, be in the lineup. It allows the Yankees, we have Judge in center field. We could put Stanton in right. Now the Yankees, they do not have to necessarily prioritize a center fielder. They could just get a corner outfielder. They don't have to go out there and get a Brian Reynolds. They could go out there and get an Ian Happ, who could play all three. They could go out there and get an Andrew Benintendi and stick him in left field and keep Judge in center field. Judge playing center field, it just makes this team so much better. It opens up the lineup so much more. It allows this team to utilize its strength, which is its depth. This team's depth, it's its strength. Now, as much as I bagged on Hicks and I bagged on Gallo, IKF got it the other day. Josh Donaldson got it yesterday, and he responded. We're going to need the rest of this team to turn it around as well. Jose Trevino, I know you got a hit yesterday, but you need to go back into what made you good at the beginning of the season. Well, not the in the beginning of June. When Jose Trevino is just focused on up the middle and right field, that's when he's hitting good. It's when he starts pulling the ball and gets home run happy when he gets in trouble. But guys, I appreciate you all for tuning in. This has been another beautiful episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. Thank you to my guy, Frankie. You definitely will be seeing Frankie again. Thank you for Frankie stopping by, giving us that great insight when it comes to judging this contract. My man, Frankie, salute to you. Make sure you guys go follow Frankie on on Twitter, Joey Gallo Stan. I'm not going to hate him for that, but make sure you follow my guy on Twitter. As well, follow Project Nerd HQ Instagram, Yankees KOD Morning Brew on the Twitter. Also, KOD Media on Twitter, Knights of Dejan on Twitter as well. Subscribe, hit that like button. And all you degenerates, you better wake up and get your coffee. I'm out. Peace.
Damn, like